Thursday. It is our book hangout, and things are moving slow over here. So there we go. Okay, we had a bit of a lag. I don't know. My phone's been running uber slow lately. I need to like restart it, get rid of some stuff I have in storage because apparently I have too much. I don't know. Anyway, it's Thursday. It's our book hangout. Today we are going to talk about. I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So we're going to talk about that. And then I started King of Wrath, and I have thoughts already. So those are the things we're going to talk about. Before I do all of that, I always give my book club book information, just in case anybody watches the replay and wants to know about it. So I do have a book club. We are called Between the Covers, and it's hosted on bookclubs.com. I have the link in my bio. If you press that link and you're interested, there are 3 questions that I ask everybody just to make sure that we're a good match for each other. The book club does focus more on like spice books, so if you're not into spice books, probably isn't gonna work. And I was checking in twice a week, and now I'm checking in only once a week because life is busy and I don't got time to check in twice a week. So that's the book club that's the book club information. If you're interested, the link is in my bio. Feel free to check it out. And now we're going to talk about the books that we're trying to talk about. And welcome in to whoever came in. Feel free to write something in the chat. It's okay if you don't. Alright, so we finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which is great. And it's funny because I read the second book first. I literally picked this book up like a year ago in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, no, this actually looks horrid. At the time, I hadn't read Ali Hazelwood books. I didn't realize it was by her, and my brain just was like, I can't do it. Well, like, fast forward 6 months, I read Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is the second book after this one. And I read that out of order, which you can do. I wouldn't recommend because I started that book and felt like I was lacking a lot of context. Hello, goodbye, 1, 2, 3, 4, Gigi. How you doing? How's life going? We're just talking about a book I finished, which is this guy. Beautiful book right here. And we're also going to talk about my current read. I just kind of talk about books. That's the gist here. But yeah, I read the second book in this series, and I lacked a lot of context, so I would not recommend reading the second book before the first one, because like, if you don't read the first one, there is a very big lack of context. So anyway, this is a very good book. It has vampires, it's got werewolves, it's got tension, it's got a lot going on. And yes, this is somewhat spicy. You don't really hit a lot of the spice until like the end of the book. But there's a lot of like build up for the tension. So what happens is there's this vampire literally named Misery. Like, that's her name. I don't know, man. Okay. But she kind of lives a miserable life, so it fits. And she is living among humans. She was used as part of this whole like program when she was younger for collateral with the human beings, because like none of these species get along. And the only way for everybody to get along, I guess, is that we use everybody's children as like, collateral. So like if the one child dies on the other side, then the other child dies on the other side, you know what I'm saying? So like in this collateral program specifically, a child of importance from the vampires would hang out with humans, which is Misery, and then some important child of the humans was going to live with the vampires. And this like program lasted for like 10 years per child, and then after that a new collateral child comes in. So Misery grew up without like her vampire family, which was probably good because her dad kind of sucks, and she has a twin brother, and their relationship seems to improve throughout the book, but at the time it was like, you know, what the heck, bro? Why did I have to go compared to my brother? And so she gets out of that program. She has a best friend, and her best friend goes missing. And so she's kind of like having a hard time with that because like she doesn't really like people or anybody in general. And then she has this really awesome friend named Serena, And Serena suddenly is like gone. We don't really understand what happened. We don't know. All we know is that there was like a note on her agenda that said L.E. Moreland. And so it was like, okay, then Misery is called home to her vampire world because her dad summoned her horrible dad. And he's like, hey, so we kind of need you to like get married. And she's very like, no, find someone else. He's like, well, you weren't our first choice. So that's always a little weird. But then she ends up saying yes because her husband has the same initials that was on the agenda thing that she found in her best friend's apartment. So she says yes. So then we have the alliance of a vampire and a wolf. And it's great. Because then the wedding day is full of tension because you have vampires on one side, werewolves on the other side, and everybody's like clashing. There's a lot of like, ooh, I hate this side, I hate that side type of tension. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just talking about books, specifically Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And her husband, Lo, kind of like realizes that Misery is his like person, you know what I mean? So then we kind of just watch their journey together. Everybody's pretty much disgusted by vampires in the wolf territory. So she's like not very welcomed, but then she is, and it's great. Greetings from faraway lands. Yes, hello, Tay Mason 6969. How you doing? I also give you greetings from my own faraway lands. So yeah, we kind of see that, and then her and Lo have feelings, and it's a whole thing. But it's a very good book. It ended well, and now that I've read this one, I kind of want to go back and read the second one because I'll actually have context this time, and that might be better. So yeah, that's Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It's just like a werewolf vampire love story. It's got forced marriage in there, forced alliances, but Lo's a gentleman. It's just a very good book. I liked it a lot, actually, which is kind of shocking considering a couple years ago I did not. 2109, all is well. Good. I'm glad all is well. I'm exhausted this morning. I don't know anybody else, but like this week is a short week for me because it was Memorial weekend, so I had Monday off. But like Tuesday went by fast. Wednesday was yesterday, and that's kind of like gone. But like today, I'm kind of like, ooh, this feels long. And then I feel like I have 2 weeks in this week because tomorrow I have a split day between my two jobs, and then I'm kind of exhausted. I'm not even gonna lie. My brain is over it type things. Alright, then I started King of Wrath. Don't mind my bookmark. It's a paper towel. I ran out of my bookmarks. I gotta find them. They're probably in my books. And oh, I actually see one, so I'm not sure why I didn't use that. But anyway, start King of Wrath. This is also pretty good. I wasn't sure about it because I've read other books by the same author. I read all the Twisted Love series, and I love those books. But there was a couple places in there that I was kind of like, this is slow, or this is not what I thought was going to happen. So, not gonna lie, I was not expecting to like this book at all, and it's actually okay. It's not horrid. It's about an heiress to a jewel company who has parents that kind of like made it big. They were not rich to start out, and then they expanded their jewelry business and became rich, which is great, except for the fact that, you know, they always say that money only enhances who you really are, and in her case, her parents just became like very high society type stuff, like not good high society, like always looking for validation, approval, always wanting more type thing. So she doesn't really have a great relationship with her parents anymore, and her sister was forced into an arranged marriage, which for her did turn out to be romantic, which is great. So that's fine, but now she's kind of like, I don't want to be in an arranged marriage. I know it's going to happen because that's what her parents told her at like 14, which is insane. I don't know why anybody at 14, like, I know it happens in real life, but like So she at this point has her own life. Her name's Vivian, and Vivian runs her own like event planning um thing, and it's like high class, high society, but she gets paid really well. She enjoys it, like it's great. Well, one day her parents were like, you need to come to this family dinner without any other context. And she's like, oh, great. So she goes, and she's like, so you're going to get married, and your fiance is going to come here. Like, they just completely ambush her with a whole person. There's things that I think are weird to ambush somebody with, and a whole person is pretty weird. But they do that. Anyway, interesting parents for you. And the whole person was actually blackmailed into this marriage, and the only reason he's agreed is A, the blackmail, and B, to find the blackmail and get rid of it so he can get out of his marriage. And she's not going to break it off because while she does not necessarily enjoy her parents or like what they've done with their newfound life and newfound riches, she still loves them and doesn't want to leave them on the outs and like all of that type of stuff. So she decides to not break the engagement either. So we got Dante Russo and Vivian. They get together. Um, and now we're at the place where they're starting to kind of have some sort of feelings. But Dante's like, I don't want to have feelings because as soon as we find all the evidence of the blackmail and destroy it, I'm getting out of this engagement and I'm going to destroy Vivian family's business. So he's kind of like, he's starting to catch feelings and he's trying not to. And then Vivian kind of realizes that Bro on the outside is very hard-headed. He's very weird and he's like particular. But then on the inside, he's kind of like soft and vulnerable. And it's great because it's important to be vulnerable. And we also realize that his parents also didn't raise him. He was raised by his grandfather and turned into the dude he is today. His parents literally were like, this is being a parent's actually harder than we thought it would be, so we're just gonna drop you off at your grandfather's and like never come back. Pretty much what happened. And the mother acknowledges, like, she's like, I'm not a good mother. I don't know how to be a mom. This is what I could do. So it's all very interesting. Everybody has a tragic backstory. Not as tragic as some backstories, but everyone's got emotional trauma and crappy parents, basically. So that's a great relatable point. And he's already gotten slightly jealous, which is great. It's hysterical watching him fight his own emotions. So yeah, that's kind of King of Wrath for you. It's very good so far. It's better than I thought it would be. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about reading it a few times and then I just like didn't, because some books I just look at and I'm like, are you really gonna be good, or are you just gonna be more of the same thing of other books? But one of my followers on Instagram was like, you absolutely need to read this book, and she's been recommending it to me for like months, so I finally was like, okay, fine. So now I'm reading it and it's great. And then this week we had to figure out what we're doing for our book club book, and I don't even know because the past couple ones we've had were not that great. This month's book was Bulletproof by K.M. Monarova. Not good. I only made it in 6 chapters, and it was not great at all. And I had other people who were reading it and they're like, I couldn't even, like, the characters were really, really weird. Like, for example, this chick, the main female character, okay, she's on the run. She is on the run. She's hiding from her ex-fiance who tried to kill her. And so we already know that she's in, like, survival mindset, right? And you would think somebody in survival mindset would make smarter decisions. She makes the dumbest decisions. I've never met somebody in a book who's so like confusing. So she ends up inheriting this house at random because an uncle she didn't even know she had died and left everything to her. And so she comes to this house, and the guy who like takes care of the will and everything was like, "Hey, just so you know, people have been casing the house. So in case someone's there, like, don't worry, they should be harmless. It's just a caser." So she arrives at said house at like 3 a.m. It's dark outside. She just wants to go to bed. Somebody's there with like their headlights on. Like, it's very weird. And she's like, you know what? I don't need to go to this house this bad. I'm just gonna go to someplace a little more populated, sleep it off, wait until they leave, and then go back. So she goes to this diner. Okay. So we made a smart decision, right? We left the scary little situation and went to someplace more populated because that's like what you do. And then, oh my god, then she's in the diner getting food, getting coffee, getting whatever, and a group of dudes come in. And I've never met a single person, like any fellow women, who are like, oh yeah, if a group of dudes walk into wherever, I'm totally just gonna want to interact with them. Said no woman ever. Like, it's like safety 101. Like, you don't talk to random people, especially if it's a group of dudes. You just come in randomly. Like, you just don't do that. At least that's what I've always been kind of taught. Hello, Gabriel. How you doing? Um, so she, this main female character is like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna talk to them. So we start out great, and then they sit down and hi, and then they like kind of call her over, and she's like trying to ignore them, but then she ends up going over anyway, and I'm just kind of like, it was dumb. Like, she just made some dumb decisions. And then there's a whole other scene that happened. It was just like, yeah. So that was our book club book of this month, and pretty much everybody agreed that it was not great, which is very sad because I really like Kaya Monarova. She writes very interestingly. I'm not sure what the right word is, but she's got a lot of stuff in there. So I was like, this is not great, but yeah. Gabriel, where do I live? I live in Hot Mess, US. That is where I currently live. Because it's a hot mess. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, so that was the book club book. So we had to figure out what the next one's going to be for June. And I don't know because the one before, well, the one we had for March, I think, was good. I think that was Blood of My Monster by Rena Kent, and that was actually pretty good. I don't remember the one in between that, which probably means it wasn't good. But yeah, some of the books have flopped so far this year, so I am not sure what we're gonna read for June. I'm not even sure what to suggest because I like to make suggestions. Only like I don't really vote. I kind of just I'm like, hey, what do we want to read? Here's some suggestions. Real Fishy, good morning. Hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. I'm just here talking about books and life and everything. Very, very good. My English is basic, but I understand. Cool. Sounds good, man. I'm glad y'all are here this morning. I'm just kind of tired. I'm just living life to the best of my knowledge. Cool, KK. Yeah, it's all good. Um. Oh, thank you, Real Fishy. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of my subscribers, new, old. Any engagement is super awesome. So I appreciate all of you very, very much. And then there's a whole series. I spent a lot on books this month, so we can't spend any more money until like July because I may or may not have gone slightly overboard with my spending on books. The only thing I'm letting myself spend on is a book for the book club. Other than that, we can't do anymore. So one of the series though that I look forward to completing is the Psycho Shifters series by Jasmine Moss, and then there's another series in that series that I look forward to reading. Real Fishy, her intentions as a content creator to become monetized eventually. I mean, that would be great. Like, you know, money is money. I like to talk about what I talk about, and of course that would be a benefit. I won't lie about that. Gabriel, do I speak more than no, I don't currently speak more languages than English. I want to. I'm currently learning Latin. that's, you know, a dead language, but that's kind of what we're learning. But at the moment, I only speak English, unfortunately. I've tried learning other languages, and I haven't found the right one yet. So, Real Fishy, I especially asked because I looked at your channel and do not have a playlist. What do you mean by that? Just like, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of go live. I just post shorts, kind of just do whatever works. And some of my playlists I don't think are public. I have some for organization for myself, but I don't know if I actually made them public or not. Because, like, I have different lives that I do, and so I put them into different playlists as, like, categories. Yeah, watch hours is insane, Real Fishy. You are not wrong. Like, I have another YouTube channel, and the watch hours I have on there kind of is insane how much I don't have, but it's on this one, I'm not doing too bad. I think we're above 70, so that's great. I mean, nowhere near what I need, but it's a start. We're kind of just learning as we go type thing. But yeah, watch hours is actually insane. Because then, like, for shorts, it's a lot more than, like, just long form. And it's weird that they don't combine the two, but, you know. Real Fishy. You have over 1,000 subscribers and 200. Well, that's pretty cool. What would be your top, like, what's your top advice for watch hours, if you would be so inclined? Yeah, I am kind of just learning as I go. I know that having pre-recorded stuff is, like, important. I have more time for lives than I do to actually, like, pre-record something and edit it and make it cool. Like, and I just don't know what to talk about pre-recorded. Create a playlist. You can combine all your content into multiple. Yeah, I've heard playlists are important. I do have playlists. I just don't think I made them public. So I will make sure to do that because I've heard that they're kind of, like, important when it comes to watch hours and everything. Yeah. Yeah. It's YouTube's weird. Into multiple playlists, yeah. Yeah, I have a few. I just have to make them public. I have 2 different ones for my lives. I have one for something else. I don't know. I got stuff everywhere. My life is kind of chaotic right now, and there's just, like, a bot that I'm like, my brain is split into 15 different directions is how it feels most of the time. Y'all ever see that meme about the dog just sitting in fire and it's like, this is fine? Yeah, that's me pretty much every day. Power Star Plus is you can run your playlist on multiple devices while you're asleep. You can run them on TVs when you're not home to accumulate watch hours. Ah, got you. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. It's very fascinating. Playlists are just interesting in general. It's all, the way YouTube works is kind of fascinating. But I will take that advice and do something with it. So thank you. I don't even know. But yeah, so there's an entire book series that I really want to buy the rest of. But, you know, it's probably going to be like $50 or $60. And I already spent that much already on my books. And I'm like, we can't spend any more. But it's it's a whole series by Jasmine Moz. And the first 3 books of the 6 talk about one person's like journey and finding out who she is type thing. And then the second book is of the female main character's best friends. And so we learn about her and what she is and everything. And I'm kind of, like, excited for, I have one more book to finish in the first 3, and then I have the second 3. And I look forward to reading all of them because I want to finish the first 3. Too great. And then the second 3, I really want to read at some point because I think they're going to be even better than the first 3. Advice is to make each playlist at least 8 hours long. The way you can do that. So you have to make sure to switch playlists because it ended up in a playlist. Awesome sauce, real fishy. I will write that down and do something with that. And then I have another series. I only have read one book in, and that is The Blood of My Monster by Rena Kent. There are 2 other books in that series that just talks about the journey of the 2 main characters. So I would like to read those as well. Yeah. So we have a couple book series that I need to finish, but you know, money. We are trying not to spend all of it on books because while books are like actually really, really nice and amazing, they do still cost money. And so we trying to save. Welcome to everybody who just popped in. Feel free to say hi, and it's okay if you don't, or whatever works. Just talking about books and life and all of that jazz type stuff. So, yeah. I have a couple books on myself I have not finished or really started. There's one I just couldn't do. Like, the language was weird. Actual, like, not, it was English, to be clear. But the way that it was written felt very weird. Like, it just wasn't comprehending with my brain. And so, it's like, I can't do it. And there's one I haven't started that's a lesbian romance. I just haven't started it yet. I might start it for next month, just because, like, you know, bride and everything. Yeah. Tay Mason, cool. Good luck on my books. Thank you. Yeah, I love reading. It's great stuff. Books are good. If you're not reading, what else are you doing? It's my, like, version of, you know, like the whole don't do drugs, do hugs. Yeah, I do books. Not that I actually would want to do drugs, to be clear. Not interested. But books are, like, my thing. That was actually a horrible explanation, but there you go. It's just how it is. And then after I'm done this morning, going to the gym. Super fun. I don't know. My brain is tired this morning. That I know for sure. And all of that fun jazz. It's been a busy week-ish. I mean, I think yesterday was pretty busy. I had like 4 commitments, and so my desk time was taken out. Dictionaries for us. Yeah, fair. I've still never really read the dictionary. I did one time. I finished a standardized state testing, and I didn't bring a book with me. And so I asked my teachers, like, hey, do you have a book that, like, I can just read? And they're like, yeah. And they gave me the dictionary. I was kind of like, this is not what I meant. And I read some of the words, and then I just took a nap instead because the dictionary is cool and everything, but it's not great for after state testing reading because I already used my brain. I don't want to use it anymore. I just want to read something fun. And then I felt bad one time because somebody lent me a book and I forgot to give it back to them like many days in a row. And then I finally did. And then it was great. So, yeah, me and books have a very interesting history. But the dictionary and we are not friends. Sometimes I just don't even use my words correctly. Because, like, when I'm in public, I'm very whatever. But at home, I just kind of use my words a little loosey-goosey because what's the fun in sticking within your language bounds when you can just make combinations of words and make it more fun, you know? So. Tay Mason, true interpretation of words are in Latin, Old English terms, apparently. Well, interesting. I mean, a lot of English words come from Latin, so that would make sense. Currently learning Latin. It's a fun language. It's kind of fun because, like, there are some words I don't remember what they mean. I just, like, think about them in English, and I'm like, oh, that's probably what they mean. Half the time I'm right, half the time I'm wrong. So, you know, it works in its own way. But, yeah. Words are interesting. Latin's interesting. It's all kind of it's funny because the reason I've actually decided to learn Latin was because of a book I've read that was by Jazz and Moss, and they talked had Latin sentences in there, and that was Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss, and that book was set in like kind of a Greek mythology setting, that also combines like I don't know what that word is, but like ancient history of civilization type environments, except more advanced, and humans were considered peasants. And so it was a very, very good book, I will say. And the second book was even better. Bonds of Hercules, pretty good. Jasmine definitely knows how to write her books, so that's always exciting. But yeah, that's the reason I decided to learn Latin, was because I read it in my books and I was like, oh, this would actually be like something really cool. Words give out feelings, what we get from a book. Yes, it 100% does, Tay Mason. Um, it is funny, like, when I actually think about the fact that I get emotional from words on a page, that somehow makes me feel good and weird at the same time, because, like, it's just words on a page, and yet in my brain, I've conjured up, like everybody else, conjured up what that looks like, how that feels, what those characters are feeling. It's just, books are really good for that purpose. Like, it's kind of like my little version of an escape, because I'm kind of escaping to my brain, but looking inside of somebody else's imagination at the same time. It's very fun. There's only been a few books where I just couldn't get into it, and I DNF them. I could not finish them. I'm like, this isn't it, man. So yeah. But books are good, words are good. It's all good. All right. I'm gonna end my live a little early today because I'm kind of exhausted and I have another busy day. So I kind of want to get a head start on it. I hope y'all have a fantastic day. Thank you for talking about books with me and everything. Good morning, Celestial Reach. I'm actually about to end my live, so thank you for popping in. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and don't die and everything. And happy Thursday.